Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Kieno Training Systems. Today we are going to be doing a simulated trip from Atlantic City International, which is right here on the screen, and we are going to Norfolk International in Norfolk, Virginia. All right, first off, we have Atlantic City International Airport here. Atlantic City International Airport has Class C or Class Charlie airspace. There is a VOR on field. We can see the blue solid VOR depicted here, and we have Magnetic North depicted there. Atlantic City International Airport. All right, let's just zoom in a little bit, and we have our airport information. Atlantic City International, the airport identifier is ACY, or as pilots we say Alpha Charlie Yankee. We have a control tower frequency of 120.3. ATIS, which is the Automatic Terminal Information Service, on 125.725. Longest runway is 7,500 feet. You take the 7.5, add 2 zeros. The airport is lighted. There's no star there, so it is lit, or it has lighting 24 hours. And the elevation above sea level is about 100 feet. It's like right on off the Atlantic coast, pretty much, or right on Atlantic, almost like virtually on the Atlantic City coast in New Jersey. All right, so let's zoom out here and let's just take a look at our route of flight. We're pretty much going to be taking Victor 1. We're going to go direct to Waterloo VOR, which is right here. Let's just zoom in a little bit there. Typically what we are looking for is any type of prohibited use or restricted use airspace as we come along here. Waterloo VOR, we picked that up. Millville's the controlling flight service station there if we needed any information while we were en route. And here comes Victor 1 off the 216 radio of Waterloo VOR. So Victor 1 brings us down into Salisbury, Maryland. We have VOR information there. Victor 1, V1 right here, brings us down, keeps bringing us down. And we're going to come to what we have is a change in direction of the Victor airway at Jamie intersection. Jamie, or Juliet Alpha Mike India Echo, if we say it phonetically. And we'll be coming inbound on the 016 radial into Cape Charles. Cape Charles is a part. It's a part of a approach procedure into Norfolk. So I would probably say, you know what, we're just going to advise that we're going to pick up, that instrument approach procedure, and we'll talk about that in a second. But we come into Cape Charles. 122.2 is the frequency. Leesburg is the controlling flight service station in that area. And let's see, Victor 1. This is actually two Victor Airways. It's Victor 1 and it's Victor 139. And then we have Norfolk International, another Class Charlie airspace airport. So let's look at Norfolk's information. Norfolk International, the identifier is Oscar Romeo Foxtrot, or ORF. Control tower is 120.8. The ATIS is on 127.15. 2,700 feet is the longest runway, and it's lit 24 hours, 90 feet field elevation. Now that might be a little off, so what we can do with our sectional is we can go to our panel and look at our legend here, and just give me a second here. and that was my mistake. The elevation, my bad. And so this is why it's always good to have your handy dandy sectional, because so 75 feet, 10,000 feet is the longest runway. My apologies. And coming back to Norfolk, come on, there we go. All right, so 27 feet is the elevation above sea level, and 9,000 feet is the longest runway. I was like 2,700-foot runway. I was like, that's not right. Okay, so basically, for our simulation purposes, we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring up Alright, we're going to bring up Atlantic City International. Okay, now, depending on where we start, this is our airport diagram. And let's see if we can, okay, yeah, that looks a little better. Okay, so here's our airport diagram. ATIS is on 127,725, like I said. We have our frequencies, but we have all our taxiways, so depending on where we start out on the field, we're going to be utilizing these taxiways in order to get to whatever the active runway is. This will be a VFR flight, but we're going to fly it as if it was a IFR flight. And we're going to actually shoot an instrument approach. We'll do a VFR, and this is typically how I would do it, flying a large aircraft, because I like being on radar. I like radar looking at me, telling me, hey, look, you got an airplane there, you have traffic, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, wherever. It's just an extra set of eyes, and it just helps. Just make sure you're going where you're supposed to be going. Let's see here. Let's just move this around. So here are all our taxiways. If we started out at this terminal and we were taxiing to runway 31, and we would go to Lima Bravo to runway 31. If we were here, we would take Lima to Bravo, we make a left turn on Bravo, and we would go down to 13. So just looking at our runways, this is the longest runway, 10,000 feet. It's 150 feet wide. Here's the shorter runway, it's 6,144 feet, 150 feet wide. We have a Air National Guard restricted area that we would, like, if we were going to runway 4, we want to make sure that we stay out of this restricted Air National Guard area. And you would see the F-16s and stuff like that. So you like, hey, we're not really supposed to be there, so we would probably stay away from that. So depending on how ground control, they could give us a progressive taxi and just walk us by hand, if you would. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So for our simulation purposes, our flight plan, let's step back a little bit. Okay, so it'll be a VFR trip, but we're going to fly like it's IFR. The air traffic controllers just call us Embraer. We're Embraer 70/Alpha. We'll say our true airspeed is 315 knots. Our departure point is Kilo Alpha Charlie Yankee, which is Atlantic City International. This is a simulated flight, so we won't really put in a departure time. Our cruising altitude is going to be 10,500. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to change that, because since we're flying IFR, we're going to change that to 12,000 feet. Okay, so our route of flight, like we said, is going to be Atlantic City International, Waterloo, Victor 1. There's a break at Jamie, but we've covered that in our flight plan and our flight management system we are going to input it. And Norfolk International, destination and name of airport. Norfolk International, Norfolk, Virginia. We'll say our estimated time of route will be 1 hour. We say 1 plus 30 minutes. 1 hour plus 30 minutes. Remarks: this is a simulation flight. We have 5 hours of fuel on board. No alternates. It's pretty much a VFR day, so no alternates will be required. In block 14, you will put your name, your address, your telephone number, and the aircraft home base. 15, number aboard, we'll say 25 people total. Crew and passengers are on board. Destination contact, I will input my cell phone. Just in case we forget to close out our flight plan, they'll call you, the flight service, hey, did you close out your flight plan, or your flight plan is still open, you haven't closed it. And we just want to make sure that you haven't had a mishap or anything like that. Our color aircraft is white and blue, and we will close out our flight plan with Leesburg Flight Service Station. Now, there's a couple approaches available into Norfolk. We have the ILS localized runway 5, and then we have the ILS 23. This is what I would hope for, since Cape Charles is definitely in our flight plan. It's along our route of flight, so I would like to just hit Cape Charles, come into Clink intersection, hold if necessary. This is a non-standard holding pattern here, because it shows that we would need to execute left turns instead of right turns. All right, so let's see here. All right. So our holding altitude is 2,000 feet. We can come down to 1,600 when established. Clyde slope capture comes in at Luff C intersection. The decision height brings us down to 226 feet. Okay, so and then after we get down, depending on if we come in on runway 23 like we would like to, the terminal is pretty much on this side. We have a general aviation area here, but we will just go to the terminal. This taxiway is closed for some odd reason. Maybe it's under construction or something, but there's X's on it, so I'd pretty much stay away from that. So even if we landed, came to a full stop here, and we needed to get back to the international part of the airport or the terminal here, then probably what I would probably do is try to land and hold short. We would probably want to get off at Golf or Bravo. This is a 9,000 foot runway, so we probably won't need it all. And again, we have our frequencies. So whenever you're flying into an airport and you're really not familiar, you I recommend that you have this on every flight, your airport diagram, because you see, okay, well, we landed here. You can see the taxiway signs, Echo, this is Golf, Golf, Bravo, and, you know, it's just, there's a wealth of information on here, and I would not leave home without it. So that's pretty much our briefing for this VFR trip. Again, we're going to terminate the flight at Norfolk International Airport, and that's pretty much the briefing. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, just email me at kienothomas@gmail.com. This is Kieno Thomas with Kieno Training Systems. And I'm not sure if there'll be a link directly to this flight yet, but if you're a subscriber, you'll see it. And you could set up your Microsoft Flight Sim just like I do mine. And that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.